So you want to learn how to draw. Is it because your drawings look like this, this, or that? Well, you came to the right place. Hello, my chess peeps. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am showing you guys how to draw. Yes, I got asked from one of you guys in the comments. Please drop a tutorial teaching us how to draw, or drop a tutorial about something. They didn't explicitly say like, I don't know how to draw a body, so drop a tutorial on how to draw a body, or you're so good at drawing animals, please Peaches, teach us how to draw animals. It was nothing like that, so I'm just deciding to make a whole video on how to draw, period, and kind of bring you guys through the steps on how I go about drawing anything. And yeah, this is the ultimate guide on how to draw from Peach's palette. I'm not a professional, but I guess I can show you some pictures and some art I've done, so you know like where you're getting this information from. I know how to draw. I do sometimes, but we're gonna draw. We're gonna fill up we're gonna fill up a page in our sketchbook. I'm gonna draw with you guys, and I'm basically just gonna teach you how I do it. And yeah, grab your sketchbook, grab your pencils, grab your eraser, markers, paint if you want to paint, and let's get started and head to the desk. So when I'm drawing and creating art, I like to separate my process into two categories, just two. And those two categories are sketching and coloring. Let me just fix this. In today's video, we are just focusing on sketching, getting our pencil to paper. Here's my sketchbook. Here it is. She is falling apart. As you can see, the lid, my poor baby. The first thing that I do when I'm starting a new drawing is to break down whatever I'm looking at into shapes. This is the easiest way, and everybody should know their shapes. And by the time this video ends, I hope that you can see shapes in absolutely everything you want to recreate. So, because I want to give you guys the best experience and I really want you guys to understand this, I want to show you an old illustration I made of myself. So yes, this drawing that you guys are looking at was referenced by actually a very nice looking model. A picture of me. And I'm gonna show you guys through this time lapse what to look for and how to see things like an artist. I feel like it's easier to show you guys how I draw digitally than traditionally, but I am going to show you guys traditionally as well. And I'm only saying that because you can put an image underneath your drawing. You can do it traditionally, but that's like harder. First thing you want to do is break down what you're seeing into shapes. As you can see, the first shape that you see is a circle. See, a circle, a line, and angle. Okay, I don't know what that is. Maybe like a 98% angle. Anyway, whenever people see me drawing, they always ask me, why do I draw that line in the middle of the face? Like, what's the point of it? That line is a line of symmetry. Okay, that is a line of symmetry. You have two eyes. One eye goes on one side, one eye goes on the other. Okay, you have a nose, just split it in half. It keeps everything straight, all right? Not everybody has a perfectly symmetrical face, so if one eye looks a little bit different than the other, trust me, it's not the end of the world. One thing I hope you can also obviously tell is that my face is underneath the sketch. That way I can see my pen marks on my page. If you're just learning how to draw, I would recommend to anybody that tracing is okay, as long as you are not taking other people's artwork and claiming it as your own. But nevertheless, moving on. I told you guys what a line of symmetry is, and I want you to keep that in mind throughout the whole drawing process. Unless you're trying to make an ogre or a monster or something, but most likely people have the same length arms, so keep that in mind when you're drawing. And the reason why I have that line through the middle of her face is to mark where I want to place the eyes. Are you alright? You're keeping up? Alright, great. So if you're keeping up, what I want you to do is to draw what you see. I want you to break every single shape that you see on a person, a building, a face, I don't know, a cat. Break it down into shapes and break those shapes into smaller shapes, because that's what I'm doing. See, I'm breaking down every little thing I see on this reference photo, and I'm just drawing it out. even though I would consider this to be a fine base sketch, it's messy and unfinished and unrefined. And that honestly moves me to my next point, which is shading and highlights. But you're just drawing what you see. That's what I want you to focus on, even when drawing in your shadows and marking your highlights. And about your art style, all that will come later. But I really want you to train your eyes so that you can see shapes in absolutely everything you do. For example, let's talk about the eyes. If you look at my eyes in the reference photo and the drawing of the eyes that I drew are really big. That's a stylization choice. Some people draw their eyes as just dots or make their eyes small. All right, it's kind of unrealistic for me to make the eyes really big, but that's just personally what I like in my own art style. But instead of seeing them as eyes, I want you to look at them like footballs in circles. You can see that there's circles inside of the footballs. Picture the nose as a triangle, the lips as a oval, and break it down lower and lower into smaller and smaller shapes. And just in case if that was too fast for you guys, this is exactly what I mean. Got it? Are you guys doing all right? This is my first time doing this tutorial like this, so let me know if I'm doing good. And I just got that from tracing over my sketch. Tracing over shapes I saw in a reference photo. Is it clicking? I hope it's clicking. Don't worry, you guys will see the finished product of that drawing. It is on my Instagram, so if you want to go check it out, it's totally there. But you guys will see that end of the drawing eventually. Because my roots of creatism, my origin of my artistic career, started in my sketchbook, in a school book, on paper and a pencil, okay? We're going to turn it back full circle, and we're going to work in my sketchbook because I started there. Rewinding the video a little bit, this is my reference photo, and taking the points that I just taught you guys with breaking down everything into shapes, that's exactly what I'm doing traditionally as well. Circle for the base of the head, a rectangle or a cube, because we are three-dimensional beings, so we have to make a cube. It's not just flat unless you're just wanting to do 2D art, which is just completely flat. But we are just slowly chiseling away at the features and breaking it down into more and more defined features. I'm gonna be quiet. This is more of a real-time conversation that I'm kind of walking you guys through. The volume will be a little bit lower, so I'm sorry for the inconsistencies with that. But yeah, actually, never mind, because the rest of this footage is like basically completely silent. So you guys are just gonna watch me do this with some music behind it. Let's take that same principle and let's do it with an animal and a non-living object. Let's just look up animal and see what Pinterest gives us. And I kind of do like this one. This is a reference photo. I'll have this picture and pop it onto the side. And we are going to break this into shapes. First shape I see is a circle. So I'm just going to, this is going to be its head. And when you draw very lightly so that it's not as hard to erase. You don't want it to be stiff and very, very hard because it'll leave a mark when you want to erase it. Circle for the head. And I like to draw the line of symmetry in the middle or wherever the line of symmetry is. So for this drawing, it kind of looks like its head is ever so slightly to the side, but I'm just going to mainly do it down the middle. And I like to have a line of where I think the face would end. So there we have a line right there. Okay. Animals are much different from humans because normally if this were to be a human face, all you would have to do is line here, like this, line here, and here, line here, and here, right? You already basically have a head. We can start adding ears and eyes and stuff like that. For animals, obviously human beings are not like animals. So we're going to break it down into even more shapes. I see that there is where the nose is. Nose is kind of like this. Then it kind of goes out. You have sort of a thing like this shape, right? Then we also have, like, I don't know what these are called, I guess the cheekbones of this animal. It doesn't have to be pretty right now because we are just starting. We are just simply blocking in all of the shapes. Just do the ears sort of like this. Also, I forgot to mention, if you can take a look over here, I did add some shadows underneath the head because our head is a 3D object. We are 3D beings. So add a little shadow underneath because your head casts as a shadow onto your body. And then places like underneath her breasts where a shadow would be casted. And I add her collarbone in these lines here for where her neck comes from. Okay. Just wanted to put that there. Okay, we are also going to be adding a lot of shading into this one as well because I am not that educated, or I don't really draw animals as often as I draw humans. I do like to add a lot more shadows into the faces as well. Also because my art style is very much stylized. And then we're just going to do the nose as well. Kind of see the nose. It's kind of like this heart shape. Kind of thing right there. This is where I start to add a little bit more details. Start to distinguish features and pull them out. One thing about some animals, and I even have difficulty myself drawing them, is this kind of cat doesn't have white in its eye. Like, its eye is like there, if you know what I mean. There's no white of the eye. Now I'm just going to time lapse this, and you guys are going to see me slowly add details into the shapes that we already have. And yeah, because I feel like explaining things can only go so far. I feel like you guys actually have to see me do it. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to time lapse this, and you guys are going to watch me draw. Not bad at all, actually. And here's the reference. It's not bad at all. I think I want to make it a little bit more stylized because I feel like it's not giving me the attitude I want. So I think I'm going to try again with less detail and more stylization. And I'm going to do time lapse of that as well. We are done. I did this one first and then this one. This one's a little bit more stylized. I think this one looks more like the reference, but I hope you guys saw how I broke down what I was looking at into detail and detail, more detail. I started off with circle, then this, like, I don't know, rectangle shape, triangle shape for the nose, and then I just broke it down in smaller and smaller and smaller pieces until I came up with something like this and then this. Okay, we did the human, we did the animal. Now let's do something of non-living. So maybe like a building or a I don't know, a cup or something. Wait, actually, I think I want to finish drawing this human character. Add some hair and clothes and stuff to her. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, now that we added some clothes to her, we have yet to add her face, but here is she. Now let's draw a non-living object. So this page is kind of crazy. We have a person, we have animals, and a non-living. We're getting ready to draw a non-living object. Okay. So what I'm thinking to do is I want to draw a Game Boy. Reference. Boom. See it? Okay. And I kind of want to draw it going maybe across my page. Just kind of connect the two spreads. First thing I see, obviously, we can pop up a Game Boy right here, I guess, is a rectangle. So we're going to draw a rectangle. And if you guys haven't noticed already, I've shaded a lot. I shaded underneath the eyes. I was aware of where places were darker and lighter. I did some highlights. It's like barely noticeable, but you guys can see, and it actually does make a difference. Highlights in the eyes, highlights on the nose, shadows, because I would say these drawings are really not that detailed, but once you add the shadows and the highlights and stuff like that, it really makes a big difference. And although I didn't touch on that point too much, that is my second biggest suggestion and tip, because what may fail in knowledge with knowing the anatomy and stuff, knowing your source of light and coloring in the shadows or marking the shadows on your illustration makes a huge difference, even if your drawing isn't the best. So when I draw, I like to mark shadows in my sketching process, but it's okay if I don't mark every single shadow, because I'll just make sure I include it when I color. Maybe I should make it a little smaller. I feel like it's a bit too rectangle to be a Game Boy. I think it needs to be a little bit more skinnier. Let's see. I can just thin it out a little bit. I think I kind of like it a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger though, even though it's not really completely accurate, I would say. Let's erase that. So we have the screen, which is looking like another rectangle. So just draw a rectangle inside the big rectangle. Big. Peak technology. I never experienced a Game Boy though. Probably one of those would have been fun. And for the last thing I want to draw is this traffic light. This part of the video is just going to be sped up in time lapse, because I'm basically just applying everything that I taught you guys through this. I'm breaking down the traffic light into shapes, smaller shapes. I'm adding shading, and I'm keeping the blank parts where the highlights are supposed to be, and I'm being mindful of the perspective. Remember, if you want to draw things in 3D, you have to think of it like a box, a sphere, a cube. If you want to do it in 2D, the rules are kind of different. And to end this video off, right now you guys are just seeing me draw a cube or like a rectangle at a high perspective angle. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below. If you learned anything, let me know if I was helpful in any way. Hopefully this video encouraged some of you guys to grab your sketchbook if you haven't grabbed it in a while and draw something. I would like to say drawing is really not that hard, but in order to keep doing it, you do kind of have to have a passion for it. But I hope this kind of cooled you guys' nerves on how simple drawing can actually be, and encourage you guys to, you know, pick up that sketchbook. Let's create a little song, you know what I'm saying? Let me know if you guys learned anything, and I love you, but Jesus loves you so much more, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Bye! I got a new ring. It's a Christian ring. It's a confide in ring, and it's a prayer ring. I'll send you prayers through your own. crazy. We're on like some high level technology kind of stuff, and I love it. I've yet to set it up, but I honestly just like jewelry as is, so you know what I mean.